Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 20 of Impact Makers. Dustin, can you believe it? We're in 2020 and we got episode 20. I'm not sure if this is going to be a good thing or a bad thing. What do you think?
I think it'll be a good thing. This has been fun starting this up this year.
Definitely. So we talked about organizers in episode 19. I want to follow up on that and specifically talk about digital client experience and really dive into client experience in general. In some projects recently, and going back a couple years, a common thing that gets brought up, maybe pushed back, maybe not, specific to organizers is, moving digitally, does it negatively impact client experience? What do you think about that as a question, Dustin?
Yeah, so I agree. I mean, we're hearing, seeing, discussing that more and more within firms, and it's not just tax processes. It's audit and it's accounting service processes as well, and it would be what I would call a perceived disconnect that firms and especially partners and maybe senior managers are having, in that as you move more toward, as you take advantage of some of the technology that's out there and we move toward more of a digital client experience, everyone wants the same thing. Everyone wants to provide an excellent level of client service. And one side is believes that some of the traditional ways are the way to do that. One side believes, let's take advantage of the technology. They're both right in terms of we want to provide an excellent level of client service. So what we found to be successful is, let's start with where we have common ground, which is that we all want to elevate the level of service we provide to our clients, and we want to think about it from a value add perspective. And as you know, what we find is that oftentimes we can come together to evolve what that client experience looks like. And yes, it is moving more digital, but as you think about the compliance work that gets done, we have to be crisp and effective there. But how we interact and service from a compliance standpoint doesn't necessarily have to be exactly the same way you manage the overall relationship. Relationships are what it's all about, and you know that we talk about that a lot. And so whether that's in-person meetings, video calls, whatever you do throughout the year, and especially from an advisory standpoint, to maintain and build and grow those relationships, a digital client experience doesn't impact that. If anything, you're making it easier for them to get those compliance matters handled quickly, securely, effectively, and it allows them and you more time to think about more of the strategy side. So it's an interesting question that you posed there, and we've had some really good conversations lately about that.
Yeah, and I think something to remember, and something that we follow up with in our projects and with anybody that we talk about that wants to make a change in the digital client experience arena, is you got to communicate why you're making this change to the client. And the why needs to be to make it easier for you to do business with us. Think back to before smartphones. There was very few people. Steve Jobs may be the only one that saw the potential of a smartphone, right? I mean, yeah, we had personal digital assistants, PDAs, that was a kind of a start, but nobody saw that. So people don't necessarily know what it is, what's possible until you start. And so if you break it down to why we want to move digital, why are we doing this? It's because we want to make it easier for you to do business with us.
Exactly.
And who's going to disagree with that? So let's keep this conversation going. It's been front and center in a lot of our projects recently. We did have some correspondence back and forth on our last post, so let's keep it going. And until the next one, have a great one.